What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how you can be a five-star wide receiver. We're going to be talking about some of the things that all five-star wide receivers have in common and what you can try to add to your game to be one of those top recruits for your position. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope we could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like to train with us this offseason, we're going to be traveling out to 15 different states across the country for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. We'll be coming out to San Francisco, Orlando, New Orleans, Charlotte, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to one of those cities, would like to train with myself and my staff, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get started with this video. So now, first thing I want to make clear is that the stars do not matter. Right? Stars 100% do not matter. If you are chasing stars, you are probably not playing football for the right reasons. You need to be focusing on being the best possible receiver you can be and being able to get recruited and play at the next level. Stars do not matter. But now you see all these guys, they get the 5-star label, the 4-star label, they're going to all these big Power 5 schools. What makes them different from the rest of the receivers in the country? Because receiver is honestly a very crowded position. You see the receiver line at camps, everybody's a wide receiver. There's probably 100 kids there. So what makes these guys stand out? So let's take a look at this first clip here. This is Zachariah Branch out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He goes to Bishop Gorman High School. And this is just a great overall play. He doesn't run a good route. He doesn't, and again, it's not a bad route, but he doesn't do anything flashy. It's not like he's breaking this guy's ankles. It's not like he's doing anything major. He's just giving him a quick little jab inside and then go runs to the outside. If I was coaching this up, I would say, hey, you got to get into his frame a little bit more. You got to step onto his toes. You got to actually threaten him with the inside move rather than just this jab with a big cushion between the two of you guys. But what makes him stand out is most wide receivers on this, he's getting squeezed to the sideline. They're getting forced all the way out of bounds, that he makes this tough catch. That is what college scouts want to see on film. That is why a lot of these guys stand out, because they make these big time plays. You're going to see it throughout the course of this video. We're going to look at 4 other 5-star wide receivers and some of the plays that they are able to make. So you have to make big plays, fellas. There's so many wide receivers out there that have highlight tapes, that make films. They send it out to college coaches via Twitter, via email, but they don't get seen. They don't get noticed. And it's because college coaches don't want to see regular plays. They want to see these types of plays. Now, am I saying that everybody, is going to make it because, they have great technique with their hands or whatever? No. A lot of times guys are just bigger and faster, and they might play at a low-level competition and get away with running a route like this in high school. Not saying Branch is that guy, because I actually do think he's very, very talented. But a lot of guys just get away with being big, being fast. You have to stand out on film, especially if you're not that big and fast guy with your hands. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time, then we'll take a look at a second clip here from a 5-star wide receiver to discuss what makes them different. So now, we're looking at this clip here from Brandon Inniss. He's a 5-star wide receiver out of Broward County, Florida. And one of the things about him is he's a solid route runner. He's insanely technical with his routes. He knows how to run routes, and especially in today's world with college football, the NFL offense is constantly changing to that air raid system, that spread system where they're going to be throwing the ball 50 times a game. What are they looking for in wide receivers? And they're looking for guys who can run routes. So he's going to Ohio State, or he's committed to Ohio State. Perfect fit for him, because Ohio State, you got Garrett Wilson, Michael Thomas, a lot of great route runners, right? Because it fits into their system. So let's watch what he does here with this move. He does a slide release, gives a move, and is able to run a slant and get a ton of separation from this DB. So let's talk about why this works. So when it comes to beating press, you have to be able to do that to play at the next level. We talk a lot about press coverage, and it's not so much for the high school guys or the youth guys, it's to get you ready for the next level. Because in youth ball and high school ball, you don't see a lot of press coverage. You see a lot of coverage where the guy's 8 yards off and he wants no part of you, because the DBs aren't that talented. But when you're facing a talented DB at a camp, at a showcase, whenever there's a college coach maybe around, or you might get the occasional press look in a game, you have to dominate. So you need to have a high release IQ. So he's doing something called a slide release. So a slide is where you're sliding to the outside, trying to get that DB to move off his platform. You give a fake to the outside and run a slant. I only like this on a slant, and I only like this on a slower developing play. So you see when Inniss does this release, and this is talk about having that high route running IQ, he's attacking vertically. That is what so many wide receivers do not get with their releases. They're so focused on making the guy miss, doing 50 moves, but they never gain ground. They never attack vertical. And that's why disciplined DBs will not move. That is why you get locked up off the line. Because a lot of guys with this slide release, what they'll do is they'll slide, but they won't attack on a 45. They will go lateral. So if you go lateral with this slide, imagine if you would have gone like towards the camera. Yeah, this DB probably would have moved, but at the end of the day, he still has to end up here on the slant. So if we get that DB to bite, we have a long ways to go to get to the spot I need to get to, and there's a big gap between me and the DB. He could easily just recover on this thing. So we have to attack him vertically with my slide because that forces him to make a decision. When I go vertical, he's got 1 to 2 decisions to make. Do I go with him and play the fade, or do I sit the inside and play the slant? Now, a lot of you guys are probably asking, well, coach, what if he just sits to the inside? Then I end up running into him. I'm going to look like an idiot. Well, if he sits to the inside, you know the next time that you have a fade ball called, what can you do? You could do this same slide, DB sits to the inside, and then go take off and go. When you make your releases look the same, that forces this DB to have to make a decision. And fellas, this is what they're looking for at the next level in wide receivers. They're looking for guys that can beat press coverage, win these one-on-one matches, because that is what you're going to get. When you run that air raid system, you get a lot of man coverage opportunities, and they are looking for the best guys who can win that opportunity. And this is a great thing. This is a great thing because guys who maybe aren't the fastest, maybe aren't the flashiest guys, Cooper Kupp, Hunter Renfrow, a guy who comes to mind is maybe Jarvis Landry. He's not the fastest guy in the world either. Those guys win in offenses like this because if you have technical routes and you know how to get open, you have a high football IQ. When it comes to running routes, you can be successful. You can play at the next level. It's not about just the biggest guy or the fastest guy. Yes, that helps, but your route running plays a major role, especially as the game continues to evolve. Let's play this thing again full speed. Great job by Ennis working that slide release and getting that DB to jump. Okay, so now this is another clip here from Brandon Ennis, and I just want to talk about understanding that when you're going up against press coverage, it's not so much about the flash. I know in the last example with the slide release, right? That's one of the flashier releases that a lot of guys, they love to use it. A lot of guys misuse it, number one, because, they take too damn long with their release. But this is a pretty simple release for Brandon Ennis. I call this like a slip release. It's essentially like 3 steps to the outside, DB jumps, and he slips inside. So it's very simple. But simple is sometimes the most effective. And you see how he gets that DB to pretty much fall. Looks like he pretty much breaks his ankles here. So when we go here, and I'm working this type of release, you got to understand what makes a DB move. What makes a DB move is being able to operate outside of his frame. So you could do the simplest releases in the world and still be able to get a ton of separation by simply understanding this concept. So when he does this move, I want you to see where he steps. You see how when he steps last part of his release, he is all the way outside the DB's frame. His hips, his shoulders, everything about this cut looks like he's doing what? Running to the outside. And it's not that complicated, fellas. He literally took 3 steps. It's not like he's doing some skip, hesitation move. Guys overdo it sometimes. If you want to keep it simple and that's comfortable for you and you can play fast, keep it simple. But just know, to beat press coverage effectively, we have to operate outside a guy's frame, and we don't want to step too wide to where I'm outside of my own frame. Because what a lot of guys will do is they hear me say this and they'll go, oh, okay, so they start reaching. They'll start stepping way out here, but their body stays inside. And then when that happens, you're off balance, you're slipping because you're operating outside your frame. You want to bring the upper body with the cut, not only for balance, but also to sell the outside to get some separation from the DB. So just know, fellas, beating press coverage is a very, very, very important aspect when it comes to a college coach looking at us. Like I said, the stars don't matter. When you get to college, nobody cares. I've heard stories of guys that I work with out here in California that have been at USC, UCLA, and they'll get these 5-star guys, 4-star guys running in, and coaches will literally call them frauds because they're just not that good. A lot of times it's just all about hype. You can't buy into the hype. Let's just focus on having the best possible highlight tape I can make, being the best possible receiver I can be, so I can play at the next level. Because when you get to the next level, everybody's equal, and it's all about that work ethic. There's no politics. There's no nothing. As college coaches, that's their job. That's their livelihood. It's not a high school coach getting paid a couple $1,000. It's guys making serious money who want to keep making that money, so they want the best guys on the field as possible at all times. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Ennis working outside the DB's frame, getting him to move, and then getting separation. So we're looking at this play here from Carnell Tate. He is a 5-star wide receiver. He goes to IMG Academy. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of him. And honestly, this is what I'm talking about in the very beginning of it. Plays that college coaches don't expect you to make, right? Those are highlights. Everybody loves to talk about, my midseason highlights, my final season highlights, and they call them highlights. But it's pretty much, and they're like 8 minutes long. It's pretty much 6 minutes of just regular plays. You know what I mean? There's probably 2 minutes of actual highlights. But what do receiver coaches want to see? They want to see broken tackles. They want to see big catches. They want to see explosive plays. So this player by Carnell Tate, look at this. This is a play he should not have made. He catches this ball. He has to break pretty much 3 tackles, almost 4 tackles, and he still scores a touchdown. That is a play that college coaches want to see. It's probably a 10-yard reception, but this will stand out more than a wide receiver who runs a fade ball, who just runs past the DB, is wide open, and just catches a perfect throw from the QB. That play is not a highlight. Like, if I'm a receiver coach, I'm like, well, yeah, he should be making that play. This is a play that he should not have made. He should have been tackled, and they should have been on, like, the 4-yard line. So this is what a college coach wants to see, especially a Power 5 college coach. And again, like we said, the whole purpose of this video is to show you guys, why are these guys different? Why are they different from the rest of the thousands, probably 100,000 receivers across the country? This is why. So let's play this again, full speed one more time, and then we'll look at one more 5-star wide receiver. So great job by Tate breaking these tackles, getting a catch, and then pushing upfield to win on this play. Okay, so now this next clip here is from Hykeem Williams. He is a 5-star wide receiver. Not too sure if he's committed anywhere, but this is a great example of him using his size to his advantage. So I know a lot of you out there, we have a big audience of wide receivers, and usually the videos we talk about like shorter wide receivers, those usually do well. But a lot of videos where we talk about taller wide receivers get a lot of traction as well, because I know there's a lot of you out there who maybe aren't the fastest guys, and you rely a lot on your route running. And a lot of that comes down to using your size. So a lot of these 5-star guys, and I know people will say this too. Anytime I bring a 5-star, well, they're big and they're fast. Like, that's not the only thing that separates them. Trust me. Some guys slip through the cracks and can get away with it. But Williams is not one of those guys. He does a great job of using his size to create separation for him. And that's what you bigger guys have to do. So immediately, if I'm watching it, let's say I'm playing quarterback in this game, and I got this matchup, this almost looks fake. I'm probably going to be thinking like fade, slant. I'm just going to get him the ball because that's pretty much a mismatch. So as a wide receiver, you have to use that to your advantage. Before the snap even happens, you're already selling fade, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're here, like, you're lined up. He's already afraid of you running deep just because of how big you are. All he needs is a step, and it's probably a touchdown because he's probably going to make that catch. So if I got to run an inside breaking route, with my releases, with my moves, you see how he's stepping again, just like we were talking about with Ennis, outside his frame. His hips and shoulders are moving. He's attacking at a 45-degree angle. All those things, fellas, if you're a bigger guy, I guarantee you that DB is going to move because he's got to make a decision, right? Remember, when we attack a DB going at a 45-degree angle, he's got to make a decision. He could either sit inside or go play the fade. And because I'm a big dude, he's probably going to play the fade. So that's what can get us separation, and that's what can help us win on routes. He made this DB look foolish just by simply using a hezzy step into a one-step jab release or a wide step release. Fellas, it's not that complicated. Using your size to your advantage, especially when you're a bigger guy, is how you're going to get open. And you just got to know what to do. You have to know how to attack on a 45. It's step outside his frame. All of those things, fellas, is what's going to help you win. So let's play this thing again, full speed again. And there's the whole purpose is to show you guys what separates these dudes from the rest of the receivers in the country. Let's play this thing again, full speed. Great job stepping outside the frame by Williams. That's a really, really good route by him. Great job finishing the play as well. So this is a clip here. I lied. I thought that was the last clip, but we actually have one more. I remember putting this into the last part of the video. And this is from Makai Lemon. He's a wide receiver out of Los Alamitos, California. That's actually where I went to high school and played at, all that. And he's probably the best receiver to go through that school in a very, very long time. He is insane. You go watch him play. He takes over a game. He's the best athlete on the field at all times, right? But how can you use that when it comes to route running? That's one of the things that so many wide receivers don't understand. Like, they got a lot of straightaway speed, but how can I use that on route running? So let's watch him do this route here. This is against the team they played out in Florida. He's doing a diamond release slant. So a diamond release slant is one of those things where you're here, you attack the outside on a 45-degree angle for 3 hard steps, get this DB to open up and run, and then slip back underneath and run a slant. So when we do this, obviously my goal is to get the DB to open up his hips to the fade. Now, what is something the DBs work on? They work on flipping their hips and recovery speed turn. Some people call it a baseball turn. So as a wide receiver, how I can use my speed with my routes is I call it the third phase of the route. You got the first phase of the route, which is like the stem or the release. You got to sell, right? Then you got the second phase, which is the break point. Then the third phase is accelerating to the ball. So if I got good speed, and I'm one of those short, shiftier guys, how I can maintain separation, you guys want to pretend when that ball is thrown, it is a race to the ball. It is between me and the DB. There is a finish line right here where the ball is thrown. I'm getting there first. I make my break. I'm in and out of this thing. I make my break first. I don't cheat my break, but I'm using my speed to accelerate to the ball. You see it, guys. Like I've done workouts with receivers who are just regular high school guys, obviously, and I've done workouts with receivers who are 5-star guys going to USC, going to these big time schools. And dude, it's a different element when they get out of the break. Those guys are so much faster than everybody else out of the break. That's why quarterbacks have such an easy time throwing to because they literally just can throw the ball wherever. These guys will go get it. And that's called using your speed while you are running routes. That's a great job there by Lemon. That's a great route. Again, very, very solid receiver. Will play in the NFL. 100% confident of that. Probably the best receiver that has ever came through that school that I went to. Let's play this thing again, full speed. Great job using that hesitation, using that diamond release, and then accelerating to the ball and winning on this play. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys as usual. And again, fellas, if you'd like to come out and train with us in 15 different states this offseason, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out to one of our camps. I'll see you guys next time.